Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I have for you one very adorable porch or patio Christmas gnome made with free Christmas tree trimmings from Home Depot. I have created quite a few of these Christmas gnomes over the years, but this is the first time sharing this creative process on my channel. I hope you all enjoy this one, and I'm hoping you too will consider creating one. Welcome to my channel today. Please give this tutorial a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. And as well, leave me your comments and let me know what you think of my really adorable Christmas gnome. Also, if you are not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one, especially after seeing this really, really cute Christmas gnome. All right, so here I am at Home Depot. You can have your trimmings for free from the bin under the Christmas tree tent. Okay, I have a pile of Christmas tree trimmings here. Now I have to prepare them. So I have my table all set up outdoors. I have some pipe cleaners, which I'm definitely going to use. You can use zip ties, but I recommend pipe cleaners. You'll need some wire cutters. If you want your hands not to get sticky, you may want to wear rubber gloves, and definitely some snips, like garden snips, to trim your pieces of branches. Okay, now you're going to be using branches that are cut off from Christmas trees. So they are not going to be prepared for you. You have to do it yourself, obviously. So just decide what are the best pieces that you can cut off of each of the branches that you collect from the bin of trimmings at whatever Christmas tree stand that you go to. But I could tell you, Home Depot does let you have them for free. So what you're going to be doing is cutting off sections. You're going to need some longer pieces. You can use shorter pieces as well. You're actually going to use a mixture of short and longer pieces. You're going to need a tomato cage, which is the wire kind of a pyramid-looking circular piece that you get in the garden department at a place anywhere like Home Depot or Lowe's or anywhere that sells garden supplies. You're going to need a tomato cage. So I picked mine up at Home Depot. So here I'm just preparing my branches, and I want to get rid of any unsightly looking pieces, any pieces that the branches are really wonky and going like crazy directions. So just prepare all of your branches ahead of time. That way, when you get ready to start the creative process of putting together your gnome, you have everything all trimmed up and ready to go. Now, any of the extra pieces that you have, remember it's a free thing, so you can take advantage of that and create some wreaths with Dollar Tree wire wreath frames, or you could create a swag. So anything that you have left over doesn't have to necessarily go in the trash. I like to take a nice big pile of free branches when I go to Home Depot. That way I have the option of creating other pieces. And sometimes I go back for more. There's just something about those free branches that I just love. It offers me the opportunity to just do projects after project after project. Okay, so I have all of my branches all prepared. Now, be prepared to get a little bit sticky if you don't wear rubber gloves. The sap from the tree branches can be, very sticky. No big deal, though. It washes right off. Now, for your branches, you're going to want to leave a little bit of the bare branch. That's the part you're going to connect to the tomato cage. Okay, in this case, I was working on a swag as well, but I'm just making the point there to save a little bit of the bare branch And that's what you can use to attach all of your pieces that you're going to be attaching all around that tomato cage. Actually, you're going to be attaching it for about 2/3 of the height of that tomato cage. I'll be showing you that in just a moment, so you'll know what I'm talking about. Gather together your materials. I'm going to say your pipe cleaners are going to be your greatest tool here for attaching. You can use wire, yes. You can use zip ties, but I think you get the best advantage using pipe cleaners. All right, here is that cage. Okay, and now at the top you can see it has 3 loose, the wires are pretty thick. So what you're going to be doing is kind of like a teepee. That's the way I think of it. And you're just going to connect all of those together. Now I'm going to take a nice piece of strong wire. You could as well use a zip tie. You could use a pipe cleaner. But I'm going to press all 3 of my heavy wires there. And I'm going to be creating a peak, or the top of the head of my gnome. Now this gnome is actually very easy to make. Watch and follow the directions. I figured all of this out on my own a number of years ago, and I have perfected it through time, but I'm giving you the advantages of my season after season of making these gnomes, which are, by the way, fabulous on a porch, on a patio, just beautiful. Just a beautiful Christmas decoration that will most certainly attract attention. Okay, so I have everything all tightly wound around the top of there. Now, you're going to see later I put a zip tie on there for extra sturdiness. You'll see later that I'm going to be bending those wires over, those ones that are poking up. But for now, I didn't do it, but I will be doing it. You'll see. All right, so I want to say that this tomato cage, when you stand it up, might be maybe 3 feet tall. This makes a pretty substantial Christmas decor piece for the front of your house. So just saying, it's really, really an awesome addition to your Christmas decor. All right, so I'm working outside, as you can see. I have a table that I use for outdoor projects. And I'm going to be taking pieces of my branches, and I'm going to be pressing them up against the wires of that tomato cage. Now, I don't want my branches to exceed the bottom of my tomato cage. In plain words, you're going to place those pieces of greenery on there with the intentions of having them not touch the ground, but close to it, or close to touching the top of the table, in other words. So you want your branches all the way down to the very bottom of your cage. Okay, now this is a process of just placing layer upon layer. One thing that I like to do, and the reason why I like the pipe cleaners, is I like to take 2 or 3 branches and put them together and wrap a pipe cleaner around them, then attach them to the tomato cage. The reason why I like this is because it speeds up the process a little bit. If you're an impatient crafter, and you know who you are out there, some of you like to have things done quickly. And then some of you are a little more patient with the process. I'm a very patient crafter, but for those of you who like to get it done quickly, I would suggest that you gather together 2 or 3 of your branches, take a pipe cleaner, connect them together, then connect them to the tomato cage. Now, I go all the way up to the top wire of this tomato cage. Now, remember those 3 loose wires? Those you closed up, but you're going to go to the top of the tomato cage where you still have the circular pieces, a little bit above that. Okay, and you're going to connect your greenery pieces. Now be sure you have the nice side of the greenery facing out. You don't want the back side. You'll be able to tell which is which. Usually the greenery pieces, they will be kind of swooping upward, if you will, if that makes any sense. They kind of curl upward. So you're going to get that effect with the right side of the greenery, but go ahead and use it anyway because it's much more attractive on the good side. Now I am going to be showing you here in just a minute where I'm attaching those further up on that tomato cage. It's difficult to film this because this is like a large project. It's not like doing a wreath. So what I'm trying to focus on right here at this point is to watch the bottom of your tomato cage and make sure that your branches are almost touching the table. If you're doing this on the ground, almost touching the ground, and layer upon layer, you're going to go around the piece and attach your greenery to fill up all the way around this tomato cage with greenery. Okay, now, like I said, we're focusing on the bottom right now. I am going to show you further up and how I'm attaching it. Now you can see that you have a lot to cover there. That's why I say grab a nice big hearty pile of those greenery pieces. Now, right here is what I meant before about gathering up a few pieces of your greenery, placing them together, then taking a pipe cleaner and wrapping it around to collect the greenery piece. Then take that piece and attach it to the tomato cage. And again, I'm going to be showing you more of that attachment here in just a minute. Right now, I'm just trying to show you how to layer your greenery pieces upon one another because you want this nice and solid with greenery. This creates a really nice looking gnome. Okay, right there. That's what I meant. That's basically... Now, you see where it comes up to a peak? You can stop your greenery right at that point where those wires start that you collect onto the top. So you basically have two big sections to cover. Now, you don't have to cover above that circular piece on the top that I just pointed out to you. You don't have to cover that because your hat is going to be over it. So I'm showing you here a good view of that tomato cage, and I'm showing you where you attach it. Most of your pieces are going to be attached to that circular piece where you see that attachment right there. Most of your pieces are going to be attached right there. So you want to pick the longer ones. That's why I choose the longer pieces. You can always fill in with shorter ones and attach them to those other wires that you see there. But for the most part, your branch gatherings that you're putting together with several pieces are going to be connected where I showed you. Now I'm showing you here again. Take your greenery, apply several pieces together. This way you're covering that area a little bit more efficiently or quicker. So you see how I take my pipe cleaner? I'm telling you, there's nothing like pipe cleaners. Also, don't use a funky color. Use something that's not going to show. Use something in the brown family, not even green. The green pipe cleaners are too green. Just choose something a little more subtle, like a brown or a camel color, like I used there. Okay, so those collections of, or those bundles of greenery, that's what I should call them, bundles, you can just continue to go around that piece and fill it up. Now, again, you want nice, full amount of greenery. on your gnome in order for it to look really fantastic. Fill it in, take your time, attach everything, look at it from all sides. If you need more in a certain space or spot, just make another bundle of greenery and attach it. You can also as well lift up your greenery and stick it underneath and apply it to some of those vertical wires. Not just the round wire area, but the vertical ones as well. That doesn't all have to be collected right there where my hand is. You can attach them as well to some of those vertical wires going up and down the gnome. Now see how I'm checking out here. Where do I need to add? And there's a little bit of space there that needs to be filled in. And there's your attachments. Now, any of those pieces that are sticking up, you don't want too much of that going on. You don't want to see it through the hat. So that's when I take my snips, I go around the top, snip off any of those pieces that are poking up there. All right, now I'm showing you what it looks like on the ground. Now look how full it is. Okay, it did not take me that long to do this. Once you get started, it goes pretty quick. But that's why I say get your greenery ready before you get started. So you're not stopping and trimming and cutting and all that. Just be ready. And then those pieces sticking up around there, I do take my snips and snip that off. Now that hat is going to sit right down over the top of that pointed area. To me, it looks like kind of like a teepee, but that's where the hat's going to go. And the hat's going to be big and dramatic and tall. Okay, now here's where I bent my wires over. I did it with my hand. It's not hard to do. Now I don't have those pointy wires sticking up anymore. I just bent all three of those over. And now I am ready for my hat, which, by the way, you're going to have to create the hat. Again, not hard to do. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. You're going to need some red felt. Red felt by the yard. Okay, now, here's a drawing of, you're going to create a triangular piece. And this is the dimensions. I'll put it in the description box as well. The bottom is going to need to be 44 inches across. And then the other dimension there, I believe it's 48. I'll put it in the description box. Just can't see it clearly there, but I believe it's 48 inches. So you need a triangular piece. This is going to be folded in half. This is going to be the area that you're going to need to create your hat on a piece of felt. Now, you're going to have to get this by the yard, easy enough. Joann's, Hobby Lobby. You'll need to get it by the yard. Now, however, you don't need much, but you need a piece that will suit the dimensions that I just gave you. Now, I drew out a mitten. I'm giving you the dimensions for that there as well. I'll put them in the description box, but I gave you the measurement of the width of the mitten as well as the height. So I simply just drew that out. I made a pattern, and then I'm going to cut out 4 pieces because I'm going to be creating the mittens, and I need 2 pieces per mitten. Here's my pattern. I put 1 piece of felt on top of another. I drew around my pattern, and I'm going to cut that out with scissors. Okay, so after I have that cut out, I am going to go ahead and start working on my hat. Now, I have my triangle cut out of my red felt. I'm now going to fold that triangle in half. You're going to need this chenille stem. They come in like a bundle in the craft department. Michael's has it. Hobby Lobby certainly has it. But there's a wire going through that fluffy chenille stem. And this is, to me, imperative for this hat, because an authentic looking gnome hat has a wrinkle that goes down the end of the hat. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. But this chenille stem will enable you to manipulate your felt and create that authentic look of a gnome hat. I'll explain that more to you in a bit, but just trust me on this. For the point of the hat, where it's going to fold over, you're going to place that chenille stem. And you're going to glue that down, leaving a little bit of fabric on the other side so that you can hot glue that hat shut. Now, there's no sewing involved here. Hot glue will do it. Hot glue will also glue down that chenille stem. Another reason why this chenille stem is really nice, or this chenille cord, or whatever it is you want to call it, is because it has a lot of length to it, and you can't get that. And a regular pipe cleaner is only 12 inches long. And we need something longer. And this is about 24 inches of this stem that I'm using. Now I'm going to go ahead and start gluing this down. This is going to be the tip of my hat. So this is on the long side of your hat, or the long side of your triangle. The shorter length, the 44 inches, that's the part that goes around the head. The 48-inch part is the part that is going to fold over. That's going to be that part of the gnome hat that you bend over. And that's why I want that chenille stem in there, because it's going to enable me to ripple the hat as it folds over the head. Now, if I'm confusing you, no worries. I'm going to show you this in just a bit, exactly what I'm talking about. So I used 24 inches of that chenille to glue down onto my felt. Remember, leave a little bit of felt, maybe about maybe a half an inch. I just need enough so that you can then glue that together, the hat. And this hot glue does a very good job of doing that. Again, no sewing involved unless you really, really want to sew it. You could if you wanted to, but I don't think it's really necessary. This is a Christmas decoration that you can use from year to year. And it just doesn't, it's not going to actually be worn. So I don't really see any need to sew it, but you do you if you'd rather do that. Okay, so down the length of that part of the triangle, 24 inches of it is going to have that chenille stem. Now, what I'm touching right now, that's the point of the hat. Okay, that's the part of the hat that folds over on the side. And that's the part with that chenille stem in there that's going to enable me to ripple the end of my hat. All right, so now I'm going to go about gluing that hat together. So I have folded it. It's already folded in half. And now I'm going to go along the edge, creating a nice fine stream of hot glue, little sections at a time, and I'm going to close up that hat. And when you're done gluing all the way down the side, now we're working again with the tip of the hat, and I'm working my way down toward the body of the hat by simply gluing closed that felt. This is really an easy process. Once you get it cut out, you'll need a surface where you can spread out your felt to create your triangle. Then you just fold that triangle in half, and it's really as simple as that. Now I'm showing you here, this is the length, and there's the full size of that hat. It's quite big, but so is that gnome. So, okay, so here we go with the mittens, all right? You need 2 pieces because you're going to be stuffing the mittens just a little bit. You can use batting, you can use tissues, whatever you like. So what I'm going to do is glue my 2 mittens together. You can sew them if you like. I'm hot gluing mine. And I'm just going to go around the edges, the same as I did with the hat, with a stream of glue, section by section. And I'm going to close my mittens, except for the area where I'm going to stuff them. And I'll show you that here in a minute. All right, so that area right there where I'm pointing, that's where you're going to stuff. So don't glue that closed yet. You're going to go ahead and glue all of the rest of the area together of your mittens. And then you can always trim everything up in the end. Maybe each of your pieces isn't exactly the same. No problem. Just take some nice sharp scissors, go around, trim it up, make it look nice and neat. And then go ahead and stuff your gloves or your mittens, and then you can close up the area where you inserted the tissue or the batting or whatever, and your mittens are all finished. Now I'll show you how we're going to attach those in a bit. I have here 2 styrofoam balls. I only need 1 of them. They're from the Crafter's Square section at the Dollar Tree. I believe they're 2.5 inches. I'll look that up. And I will put that in the description box. But I believe it's 2.5 or 2 3/4. But what I'm going to be doing is wrapping this styrofoam ball with jute cord. Now you can use a fine twine, jute twine. You can use a little bit of a heavier cord, which is what I'm doing. I generally do my nose like kind of crazy. I just wrap in all different directions. I like the look of that. If you prefer, you could wrap it with some fabric. However you want to finish your nose is completely up to you. I like the jute cord look, so I just go about wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And notice I'm going in all different directions. When I begin my wrapping, I just glue down a bit of that, and then I just proceed to wrap and wrap until I do not see any styrofoam peeking through. Now don't worry about the fullness of the nose because you can pop that nose right in between your greenery on the tomato cage, and you can make your nose protrude as much as you want or as little as you want. But I think that size nose is perfect for this large piece. Okay, so back to our mittens. I'm going to be placing some pipe cleaners on the back of the mittens. All right, now be careful. Think about how you're going to place these mittens on your gnome. You want to be certain to get the pipe cleaner on the right side of the mitten. So I'm going to be placing a pipe cleaner on the back of each of the mittens. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing this is how I'm going to attach my mittens to the gnome. I'm simply going to place it in the greenery, and then I'm going to take those pipe cleaners and wrap it around the tomato cage. This is how you attach your mittens. And this works just great. Now I believe I'm going to show you how I stuff them with just a little bit of tissue. So I'm waiting for my everything to dry, and I'm going to come back to the mittens there in just a minute. And now that's the top of my gnome, and I'm showing you that I take my hat and I simply place it over the greenery. Now I do this taking my time, and I like the seam of my hat to be on the inside underneath the part that folds over. That way you don't see a seam. Now you're going to pull this hat down very gradually. You don't want to force the seam, and the slouching or the gathering of the hat is very gnomey, okay? That's the way it's supposed to look. You want that gather. Now, do you see the tip of that hat where I'm actually starting to ripple it? That's the beauty of that chenille stem that we hot glued on there. Now my nose is going to go right inside. I opened up a little area of that greenery. Now I took a chenille stem or a pipe cleaner and I glued it on the back of my nose. This is going to help me hold on my nose, but also that nose or that styrofoam ball covered with jute twine is going to be tucked underneath, just a little bit underneath the hat. Now you want to be careful again while you're pulling your hat on, but you're going to pull it down over the greenery. And then furthermore, after you get the nose attached, then you're going to pull the hat just a little bit down over the nose. Now, if you want to, you can put a dab of glue there. See what I mean? Like right there. You could push your nose in as far as you like. You can have it sticking out as far as you like. But I like the nose this size. If you want to use a smaller nose, just get a smaller styrofoam ball. All right, now here's my mittens. I did close up the end of my mittens with hot glue, and those I'm going to attach in the same way I attach the nose. I decide where I'm going to place them, and think about the way your hands look. Where are the thumbs when you place it on there so that it looks, realistic. And I use the pipe cleaners, and I just find the wire underneath there of the tomato cage, and I just twist that mitten pipe cleaners on the mitten around the wire. And it's pretty easy to do, although I'm making it look a little more difficult. I just was having trouble, finding my pipe cleaner tails there when I was doing this. But it's actually pretty easy to do. Now let's talk for just a minute about how to keep your gnome lasting as long as possible through the holiday season. I would suggest every other day spritzing it with water. Don't place it in direct sun. Okay, I'm going to be putting the other mitten on the other side. Using the same method, use the pipe cleaners. Now, I'm showing you here, look at the ripple. That's what that chenille wired piece, that's how it really helps you to create that authentic gnome look. I created a Pom Pom on my, to put on the end of my hat. Now, you can add a Pom Pom or you can skip the Pom Pom. That's completely up to you. I'm also going to put a snowflake on the hat of my gnome. You can do this or not do this. It's up to you. If you don't know how to create a Pom Pom, you simply cut out a piece of cardboard, wrap your yarn around it about 30 times, wrap a piece of yarn around it, cut it, and then you have a pom pom. You can also Google this. It's very easy to make a pom pom. And here you have this very adorable Christmas gnome. This is on my patio. I absolutely love it, and I hope you will be able to recreate this. And I hope you enjoy the process. I absolutely love doing gnomes. And I hope you feel inspired to create one for your porch. Okay, until next time, you all take care.